going to be a mistake. But I've had 2-hour-long phone conversations with a girl that I thought it was like a shoe-in when we finally met up, because we had so many connections, like so many things to talk about. Like the conversation went so well, and I got the cheek at the end of that date, you know. And it's like, part of it is that it's exhausting some of the mystery that can be in place for when you finally meet up. So she's less. Yeah. If you give her 2 hours of your time, she's more comfortable. She's not as worried about like what you're going to think about her if you're giving her 2 hours of your time up front. So she's less worried about where she stands, which means she's more comfortable, and it's going to put you more in the space of wondering where you stand, right? And especially if you already have 2 hours invested of conversation, you're like, fuck, man, I want this date to go well, instead of going into it or like, I don't give a shit. What's really going on is that you're expelling any mystery that you've got into the situation. So you think back to any relationship you've ever been in, right? The whole span of, for example, Gabe, like your entire marriage, right? When was the time where you were most attracted to each other and there was like the most hype? Yeah, like right in the beginning, right? Like it literally just degrades from there in terms of excitement, because you familiarize, right? The thing that detracts from everything is the familiarity, right? So when you, especially like, because I'm sure you had highs and lows, right? There's probably spikes of like amazing moments in the marriage and stuff like that too. But like when you think about it, this is true for everybody. Like definitely with every relationship I can ever think of, it's always most exciting in the beginning, and the reason is because of mystery. So the more you you don't want to whittle away that. So for example, like Sabrina didn't find out that I was a Marine, I think, until or that I did mortuary affairs in the Marines. She might have known I was a Marine, but she didn't know I did mortuary affairs, and she didn't find that out until like our 4th or 5th date. So like, and that's a big thing. But there's lots of cool stories there, right? Like on date 1, I could have like busted out, all the fucking intrigue about dead bodies and how I like try to make it seem like I'm a war hero and all this kind of bullshit, right? Like I could have busted that out to impress her on day 1, but instead she gets to like unravel it over time. And like when that happens, they're like, holy shit, I can't believe you do this too. Like it was like maybe a few weeks in or maybe even a month in before she knew that I could even play the guitar. So she's like, oh fuck, you play the guitar too? Like what the fuck, right? Like it's crazy. So that's what you want. Is like, it's almost like you're unwrapping a mummy, like strand by strand.